For today's cup of coffee, we have had to shift gears. We got home late. It's been a comedy of errors all day long.
Yeah.
Kids, he's persevering, and
it's all good.
he's had major migraine.
Yeah.
And he's had those since he was small. And we did take him to a neurologist at some point.
They didn't scan my brain, but
she said there was no point of it. And he was on a medication for migraines for quite a while. And at some point he decided, I don't need this anymore.
Because they were done. So.
No, they weren't done. The medication was managing them. That was the whole point of the medication. So
fine.
he's had sort of, so I appreciate him soldiering through on this one. But, the one about Elizabeth Bathory is going to have to wait for another day, because that was another one that had a vast amount of information in it.
I will get that Living Dead doll eventually of Elizabeth Bathory and Bloody Mary, and they will both be in that video, hopefully, if I can afford them, because she's like $50.
That's ridiculous. Anyhow.
She wasn't $50 when she was released. She was like 20-something.
Of course not. But that's how things go.
I wanted her, but Dad wouldn't get her for me. So
it was a matter of going back, and because this is spoopy month for some of us, it's spoopy year. It's every day is spoopy day.
It's almost sister-in-law birthday.
That's true. Yeah, we've been planning on that. And we got home late, and then kid was unwell.
Happy early birthday, baby.
And so we're going to go back and discuss one of my favorite subjects, clowns.
Oh, I should have got I wish I got the little minifigure.
It's all right.
I couldn't find him.
It's all right. So. It's all right. I'm not a fan. And
they don't creep me out.
Quite a few cups back, we did discuss the phobia of clowns. What is it?
Oh, no.
Isn't it colorophobia or something like that?
We could have actually done the cappuccino, whatever cup. What is that called? What do you do? Like the short videos?
Oh, the espresso shots?
Yeah. We could have done that about the fairy rings.
That's true. We will do that probably on Saturday. We're going to save that one for then.
Yeah, I stepped in a fairy ring.
Yeah, he did. There was honestly a fairy ring, but it was not a complete circle.
Yeah.
It still had a doorway in it, and I'm like, do not step in that. And of course, what does he do? He has to step in it.
Yeah, I gave the mushrooms petting.
So anyhow,
stepped right into it.
If they come, I told him, I said, have we not had enough contact with these entities? No, but if they torment somebody, I want them to be you, not me.
They ain't gonna torment me.
I mean, I didn't step in the fairy ring.
That only happens if you actually believe in them.
Green Jay saw them.
He saw fairies. He didn't see the fae.
That's the same thing.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's just a different term for it. So if they come, I hope they go to your room, and it's like, maybe they'll come and dust for us. That would be great.
That'd be nice if they could just take all the shit I don't want in my room.
Anyhow.
They can have all the stuff I don't want. Bring back my childhood toys, because I have no idea where those are.
Well, that's the creepy basement. That's another cup of coffee.
I've already looked through all the totes down there, and there's not a single toy down there
anymore. We're going to be discussing this creepy clown thing. And it's not just me. There's lots of people. And it's
actually a really common phobia.
Yes, it is. And so I'm going to be taking this from an article that was called A Surprising History of the Creepy Clown. And it's late. It is almost midnight here, so it is late.
Creepy.
And this is from BBC Culture, and that is by Fiona Macdonald. Fiona. Isn't that a neat name? I know it's like Shrek, but it's still a neat name.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Fiona from Shrek.
She wrote this on October the 19th, 2016, so it was a matter of trying to put that, to realize it's like, hey, that's been a while back. 2016, time warp. So it's a matter of rewording some of it, but I always put the link in the description box. And she says, at the turn of the 19th century, British pantomime star Grimaldi was putting the finishing touches on his alter ego called Joey, which was a character that had become a forerunner of the clown we know today. And the same type of clown which has terrorized people around the world. Reports of clowns attempting to lure children into the woods in South Carolina first emerged in August of 2016. And since then, there have been sightings of clowns behaving in menacing ways around the world.
It was all over the
Yeah,
internet.
that's what I was as I was looking for different articles and stuff, Ireland, UK, Philippines, Malaysia, different places that were just, it truly was everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it is still everywhere, but...
No, although there was a creepy clown sighting somewhere that some TikToker recorded recently.
Well, I don't know. It's getting to that season, so
The reemergence of the creepy clown sightings, I'm ready for it.
And because of this, of course, there was social panic, because apparently humans panic easily.
Yes,
Sheep.
they really do.
Sheep.
Yeah.
And even this panic led to arrest, school lockdowns, and some local officials banning clown costumes at Halloween. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, it was insane, but it was still fun.
And this
still
was
fun
funny.
to watch.
McDonald's even limited Ronald McDonald's public appearances. Maybe that's why they don't do Ronald anymore.
Probably.
You
He
know,
had nothing to do with it. but-
he didn't have to. He was one of them.
I didn't have a problem with Ronald.
And there was a Clown Lives Matter march, for real.
Oh, I love that.
That was scheduled in Arizona, and it had to be canceled after organizers received death threats.
It was from the actual clown people who
Right.
as clowns, but because that affected their livelihood.
And that's what they were saying, that the craze was condemned by professional clowns who claimed it threatened their livelihood, and the risk of permanently damaging the reputation of the art form.
And it is an art form, though. It really
It
is.
is.
Like, you have to train for that stuff.
It's like mimes.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I don't mind mimes either.
it says,
I don't mind mimes.
but clowns have not always been non-threatening entertainers for children's birthday parties. And in ancient Rome, there are accounts of a funny man who performed impressions of the deceased at their funerals.
Okay.
So maybe it's okay that you get that nervous laughter during type things like that.
Yeah.
And the Archimedes was allowed to offend even mourning family members. And Lucas M. Sargent tells how Suetonius, in the life of Tiberius, described one at a funeral for the Emperor Vespasian. And, quote, it was his business to imitate the voice, manner, and gestures of the defunct. I like that. Instead of dead, defunct.
Yeah.
They'll have to remember that.
The unalived.
And Sargent goes on to say, quote, the fellow openly cracks his jokes on an absurd expense of the funeral, end quote.
Okay.
Now, if somebody could pay me to do that, I would do that.
Absolutely.
The Archimedes...
It's horrible when you're talking to someone at a funeral and
really-
they say something absolutely off the wall, but it's hilarious. That they
Right. Of Rome took liberties in the same way as the court gestures of medieval European royalty. And Benjamin Radford, and he's the author of the book Bad Clowns. I actually would like to read that.
I've never heard of that book.
He says the court gesture was given license to say things that might be rude or impolite and socially unacceptable, even about the king. He could make fun of a king's weight or how young his concubines were and not be put to death, for it was because of the clown's role as a truth sayer. If you take a broader look at the history of the clown, they have always been an ambiguous figure. Sometimes they're laughing at themselves, sometimes they're laughing at you. Sometimes they're the victim, sometimes you're the victim. It's a mistake to ask, when did clowns go bad? Because they were never good to begin with, end quote. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And Radford further says, quote, "You see this in the Harlequin character and, of course, in Mr. Punch," as in Punch and Judy. That is a classic evil clown archetype that has been performed in England for more than 300 years. It's this beloved character who is both funny and evil. It's an irresistible stew to many people," end quote. That we've got to get that book.
Okay.
And in his research, Radford was surprised by the range of places in which the archetype appears. Quote, "Once you begin picking up the threads and identify common themes in the evil clown character, they pop out," he says. "For centuries, the Cherokee people of North America have performed a ritual reacting against outsider intrusion. The booger dance."
The booger dance.
For real. Begins with a prelude in which tribe members dance together for around 30 minutes. Then a group of up to 10 males arrive wearing masks representing foreigners, often disfigured as though infected with smallpox. American anthropologist Dr. Frank Goldsmith Speck observes performances in 1935 and 1936 at a Cherokee reservation in western North Carolina. And I would say that's the same reservation that we have visited.
Oh, yeah, probably.
In his book, Cherokee Dance and Drama, he describes how the masked company, quote, "boisterously enters the house where the night dance party is held. The maskers are systematically malignant. On entering, some of them act mad, fall on the floor, hit at the spectators, and chase the girls," end quote. There is humor as well as menace in the ritual. For the main part, each masked man, quote, "performs awkward and grotesque steps as if he were a clumsy white man trying to imitate Indian dancing," end quote. He also continues to say, quote, "until all the masked visitors have competed in drawing applause by their obscene names and clowning," end quote. At the arrival of the boogers, Speck notes, quote, "when the first invader was questioned about his nationality and identity, he resoundingly broke wind, and this was greeted by risible applause," end quote.
That's
And
funny.
we can understand how that is them trying to deal with the trauma that they went through as a people.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with what they're doing.
No, there's absolutely nothing wong. You have to laugh at stuff,
sure.
or else you just go insane.
Absolutely.
It's all right to make humor.
Absolutely.
Make light of something. To
Yeah.
get past it.
Even yeah. And I can understand how they would do this, and as far as the portrayals, and why would anybody take offense on that?
Yeah.
You know, it's just we live in a strange world.
Absolutely, we do.
A razor's
Way my generation.
Yeah, really, God love y'all. A razor's edge is walked by the clown. Anarchy contained just enough to allow for laughter, a threat that dissolves into an object of ridicule. When that balance tips the wrong way, it's a quick slide into horror. Philosophy professor David Livingston Smith believes the mismatch between appearance and action is what makes clowns creepy. And he quotes and says, "Clowns are peculiar because they're meant to be delightful and amusing, but a lot of people find them disturbing," end quote. And he was telling this to BBC Culture, referencing the 2016 research paper on the nature of creepiness. I've got to find that paper. I really do.
Yeah.
Psychologist Frances McAndrew and Sarah Koenig, I'm going to say that. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to say it.
All right, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Of Knox College in Illinois, asked more than 1,000 people to rate the creepiness of a list of occupations as part of a wider survey. Clowns won the creepiness jackpot, says Livingstone Smith.
Wow.
It's not just me. It's not just me.
It's not just you. It's like I said, it's a common phobia.
The study concluded that, quote, "being creeped out is an evolved adaptive emotional response to ambiguity about the presence of a threat," end quote. In other words, as Smith wrote on the website a person is creepy if we are uncertain about whether he or she is someone to fear, end quote. I can see that.
I can see that too.
And this inherent creepiness was taken to the extreme with the killer clown character that pranksters are currently bringing across the globe. Some argue that this began with the arrest of serial killer John Wayne Gacy in 1978. Gacy had dressed as Pogo the Clown at children's parties and made a series of clown paintings while on death row. He is often touted as the inspiration for Pennywise in Stephen King's 1986 horror novel, It.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. King spoke about the killer clown trend, saying, quote, "It's time to cool the clown hysteria. Most of them are good. Cheer up the kiddies. Make people laugh," end quote. Yeah. So King is trying to... He's one of the promoters of creepy clownness, and he's trying to tell other people to chill out because he sort of maybe added to creating a monster.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, he's trying to backpedal a little bit.
Notice he didn't give the money back from it.
That's true. He probably spent all that money from it.
But he's still making money from it because they remade it.
Well, no, and I actually did buy the remake. I just haven't watched it.
It's apparently more accurate to the book than that.
I would have to go back because I did read the book, and it's a kind of a lengthy book.
Yeah.
But it's a good.
Too.
Well, it was a good. How are you going to put a 600 or 800 page book into an hour and a half without leaving out major parts?
Well, they made 2 movies.
Well, yeah.
Just like that one.
Right. But that one, even if it had John Boy in it, it was still a really good version of it.
I find it cool that they actually decided to use one of the rejected designs for the original It movie.
Right.
So.
Well, the fact that you had, oh my goodness, what is his name? I'm trying to think of it right now, that played Pennywise in the original Rocky Horror. Tim Curry.
Yeah, Tim Curry.
I love Tim Curry. I'm a huge fan of his, and he did such a remarkable job with Pennywise.
He did a really good job at it.
Yeah. So, anyhow.
I'm sure if he wasn't sick and wheelchair bound now, he would have redone Pennywise.
That would have been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It truly would have. He's just another one with an amazing voice.
Oh, yeah.
So we fans of the Tim Curry. Clown culture actually extends way before Pennywise. And in an 1892 opera of, I wrote it down because it's Italian. I'm trying to pronounce it.
Why didn't you write it phonetically?
I did write it phonetically, but it's after midnight at this point. It's Pagliacci. Pagliacci. There we go.
It's omitted exactly past midnight.
Pagliacci. There you go. Which means clowns in Italian. Features a clown who discovers that his wife is cheating on him and murders her on stage. Rightfully so.
I was about to say.
Yeah, in one of the opera's arias, and I actually have heard this, and it's amazing. It's heartbreaking, but it is amazing. Yeah. The clown laments that his job is to make the audience laugh, even while he is crying inside. So, again, you've got that ambiguity.
Thing.
It is horrible. I mean, but it's just... The potential for clowns to invoke fear was widely recognized at that time. And in 1879, the French writer Edmond de, I pronounced this one too, Goncourt. I mean, when you went and listened to the French pronunciation, I thought there was no way in hell. Anyhow, he wrote that clowns, quote, frolicking and jumping doesn't try to amuse the eye, but rather manages to give birth to troubled astonishment and emotions of fear and almost painful surprises from the strange and unhealthy motion of the body and muscle, with visions of bedlam, of the amphitheater of anatomy, of the morgue. And he claims that he calls clowns modern phantoms of the night, whose actions are idiotic gesticulations, the agitated mimicry of a band of madmen, unquote. It was true. I mean, it's like, I thought it was a very... It's a very astute observation.
Yeah, very.
And so madness was arguably part of the
Arguably.
appeal of Grimaldi. Trained in clowning by an abusive, tyrannical father, he retreated into childhood with the character of Joey. According to Stote, however, this was, quote, was categorically not a return to innocence. There was little comfort to be had in revisiting a period of his life that had been unrelentingly complex and traumatic, end quote. Grimaldi had been left crippled by injuries from decades of slapstick tumbling and was in constant pain. He joked, "I am grim all day, but I make you laugh at night," end quote. So that's sort of like, I don't know that that's creepy. That's pitiful.
Very.
Prone to depression with an alcoholic son who died at the age of 30, Grimaldi took to the bottle himself and died in poverty.
Oh, no.
That's tragic.
That's not, yeah.
That's not creepy. That's Poe-esque.
Very much.
And so some people that are in
so
great
sad.
pain, be it physically, emotionally, mentally, how is it that they can go forth and create these amazing works of art?
That's true.
Yeah. So, at the age of 25, Charles Dickens was asked to edit Grimaldi's memoirs shortly after the great clown's death in 1837. And Dickinson had already written the Pickwick Papers, which featured a character said to be based on Grimaldi's son. Quote, "The glassy eyes contrasting fearfully with the thick white paint with which the face was besmeared, the grotesquely ornamented head trembling with paralysis, and the long skinny hands rubbed with white chalk, all gave him a hideous and unnatural appearance," end quote. I'm a huge fan of Charles Dickens, too. Oh, it's just that imagery that he produces. I mean, just, you can't get that from just watching a movie.
That's true. You really can't, because the mind creates like almost
absolutely.
a better...
It's a very intimate, reading is a very intimate process.
Yeah.
Stote has written that through these memoirs, laughter and misery becomes the balance beam on which Grimaldi's existence is constantly weighed, as every career triumph is paid for with a proportionate personal agony, and every moment of joy countered by grief, end quote. It's the belief that clowns are meant to be harmless that is recent, not the idea that they are unsettling. Quote, "There's an ambiguity about what kind of thing they are," says Livingstone Smith. "If clowns reconfigured themselves such that the ambiguity was diminished, they wouldn't be as disturbing," end quote. But arguably, that also no longer be clowns. So, and then we have people that have taken that idea of creepiness to the nth degree.
Max, yeah.
And there are some amazing creepy clown costumes.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I love that movie. I mean, even as much
was
as
not a fan
I
of that
hate
movie.
clowns, it remained true to form. And I heard someone else that was a commentator on that movie, and that they did what so many others could have done but didn't do, even as far as entrapping someone in the giant balloon, using clown techniques to wreak havoc the place or the spaceship and where they were. It was still clown world.
Yeah, so at least they did stay true to
They
the clown
did.
theme.
They did. And when you...
I can't say the same with Pennywise, honestly.
Oh, no. And the ending of it was bizarre.
It was this weird alien bug thing.
Yes, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you get from that to that? And it was almost like King sort of like, I'm tired of writing now. Let's just make it some alien thing.
Right.
And it's like, no, don't do that. So I think that the ending of it, the premise,
It would have been so much better.
oh yeah, I think he started with the crazy, creepy killer clown, and just, I think he just got tired of it.
But then why didn't he take a break from writing?
Some writers do that. And I don't know, that was just like J.K. Rowling with some of the Harry Potter stories.
Oh, God, when she killed Dumbledore.
Oh, my God, yeah. And it's like, why?
She killed Snape
Why?
and Dumbledore.
Yeah. And it was just, no.
Why would you kill all the good characters?
Yeah, and then let some of the other ones go.
Yeah. Malfoy.
No, Malfoy was actually a well-developed character in the fact that he, God love him, he was another one that had to walk that razor's edge. Was he good? Was he evil?
I think he actually wanted to lean more towards good, but because of his family, yeah.
Exactly, keeping up appearances that he was supposed to be one of them, and he wasn't one of them because he realized what they were.
Exactly.
So, and there was a lot of clownish characters in, they didn't have the clown makeup.
Nearly
but,
Headless Nick.
Well, there was quite a few that would go in there and fit that creepy clown.
What was his name? He was the ghost. He was the jester. He was the one that would float around the library or something like that.
I think it was John Cleese that played the ghost.
He wasn't in the movie. This ghost wasn't in the movie.
Oh, well, there was one of the
trickster.
There was one of the ghosts that was in the Great Hall. That was John Cleese. I think he was nearly Headless Nick or something like that.
Yeah, nearly Headless Nick was in the movie, but there was another ghost. I don't remember his name, but he was just this weird goblin type creature ghost thing,
I don't know.
and he would cause havoc almost.
So yeah, creepy clown things. I'm not one for them. We were in a store today, and of course it was child creepy clown costume. And
I would have got it.
Youngest kid here likes the creepy clowns just because I hate them.
It's not just because you hate them. They honestly don't creep me out, and I do enjoy them.
So I think that it's just has become its own urban legend in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but that goes into the thing of like creepy clowns and puppets and such, and I've always loved puppets, especially ventriloquist dummies and marionettes.
Yeah, no.
I love the circus. Love seeing the clowns at the circus.
No. You can have all that and my share too. So, creepy clowns, what do you think about them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Yeah, let us know in the comment box.
Of clowns?
Anyhow, if you've had experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, horrible creepy clowns,
Or clowns in general.
regional, family, myths, legends, email us cupofcoffee@scream.
Cup of coffee is Scream?
cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And you all
email us at cupofcoffeewithscream.
I've got an allergy attack. Okay.
Email us at
cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. It's always in the description box in case I screw it up.
Yeah.
So
But still.
He's picking on me.
Listen, I feel like shit. Let me do something.
I will let you do something. Anyhow, you all have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning and having coffee. And we will see you on the next cup. Bye.
Subscribe.